Today, the country's oldest nuclear power plant is shutting down for the final time. The Oyster Creek Nuclear Generating Station in New Jersey first went online in December of 1969. And over time, the plant has been plagued with corrosion and leaks. There are still 98 nuclear power plants in operation, but the future of the industry is uncertain as other forms of energy become cheaper. Now we turn to investigative journalist Paul Derienzo. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I know your father was the chief engineer at the Oyster Creek Nuclear Reactor, but environmental and nuclear groups, watchdog groups, are both excited and relieved to hear that this plant is finally shutting down. Do you agree that this is a good step?
Of course, it's a step that was a long time in coming. The reactor has been in operation since 1969, and like many reactors across the country, had been extended on these 20 years extensions. And as one activist said, it's sort of like driving a 1960s car when everybody's zipping around in Teslas today. And it was time for new thinking as far as power, and gas, natural gas, of course, has made power generation much cheaper than nuclear, which was always very expensive and needed to be subsidized by the government. And solar and wind power are really the future that we should be looking towards.
Well, safety was a big concern as there was corrosion on this particular facility. Is it not flooding that led to the Fukushima reactor meltdown in the past, and could that have happened here?
Well, this power plant was on Barnegat Bay, which is in Lacey Township along the ocean, and it used ocean water as a coolant from the Jersey shore. And of course, there's always the possibility of a storm surge coming ashore. It's right there. You know, you could actually see the ocean from the plant itself, and there could have been possibility problems with flooding. And the biggest problem with a nuclear reactor today, with all of the nuclear reactors in the United States, no matter how old they are or where they're located, is what you do with the nuclear waste that's stored on site by law. And really the issue is, where are they going to put this reactor after they tear it down? Where is it going to be sent to? The Holtec company, which is taking apart which has purchased this plant for the purpose of taking it apart, will be shipping it to locations that are really not known yet, and may be really not adequate for storing the nuclear waste and the radioactive parts of the actual reactor itself. They want to send them to New Mexico. They want to send them to Texas. The federal government ruled long ago that there has to be an approved site. That site was supposed to be Yucca Mountain in Nevada. That has been found to be inadequate. They have not come up with a site, but instead they seem to be going around and skirting around the rules and the law, and seem to be, without telling us what they want to do, planning to put this stuff in long-term storage in places like Hanford in Washington State, which they used to make plutonium at, and which is the dirtiest place in America, in the whole Western Hemisphere, and or the waste isolation pilot plant near Carlsbad, New Mexico, or the private facility outside of Andrews, Texas. And these are the locations. None of these locations are legal. None of these were approved by Congress. They have not been able to solve the problem, and they look like they're going to be dumping this stuff in these places. Wow,
what an interesting, hazardous reality of waste management today. You know, the reactor that's being shut down is identical in design to and construction to the one that had the reaction in Fukushima, the nuclear reactor, which was an American model licensed to the Japanese by GE. Why has the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission continued to promote basically a flawed reactor model that has had issues in the past and could have it in the present or the future?
Right. Well, it's a boiling water reactor, and there's always a possibility in the boiling water design, where they boil the water, of in an emergency, a breach of the cooling system could lead to radioactive water leaving the reactor. The other type is called pressurized water, and that's actually more common. But that gets back to what we were saying at the very beginning. You have we're driving around in a Studebaker, and we're living in Tesla times, and the Tesla time is we should be looking at other forms of energy production, such as solar and wind.
Paul, thanks for joining us tonight and going a little bit more in depth into this very interesting subject.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.